when we have these major events. Some new people come to the game who've not seen it before, so if you're one of those, the basics are, so long as you hit the lowest numbered ball remaining on the table first, any pot you make is legal and keeps you at the table. And the winner of the rack is whoever pots the 9, irrespective of what balls have been potted up until then. And so if, for example, the lowest numbered ball remaining on the table is 3, as it is here, if you then hit the 3 onto the 9 and make the pot that way, that means you've won the rack. Now, when you say it all to people for the first time, it all sounds a bit unusual, but when you see it in operation, particularly played by very good players, you understand why it is all about that 9.
Yeah, you could get a little action on him here, I think. Oh, I can't believe he fouled there. Didn't get over the brown 7, so ball in hand for Biado. It's been a tussle back and forth, safety-wise, trying to get position to run the rack, and now he has it.
The first match was over quite quickly. Something tells me this is going to be a very different sort of affair. But Biado now has a good chance to finally win this opener.
Yeah, pretty good position here. Maybe a hair thinner than he wanted, but he's close. Just being able to hold the cue ball up shouldn't be a problem. The purple doesn't pass the 8, so it'll have to be the opposite lower right corner. And good to see Johan get a little stretched out there in that first match. Both started a little rough, but he made 1 or 2 mistakes coming down the stretch from the middle of the match, but just Ignacio really didn't put up much resistance. Okay, this got a hair awkward here. Much more of an angle than he wanted. Now this is good to where he can recognize the black 8 is very playable, so you can keep it pretty simple getting on the brown 7. Yeah, that was nerves there. Got a little twitchy with the stroke.
What a chance for Ko now to steal the opener. It's been eventful. So again, for any newcomers to 9-ball, the term break and run, and that's where you win the rack without your opponent coming to the table. And Chung is closing in on one of those here.
One thing I think I see about Chung more than maybe any other player is he really doesn't let the moment change how he's going to play the rack. And he doesn't run for the short pocket a lot of times just because of worried about missing a ball or trying to make the rack easier. You're always trying to make it easier, of course, but you know, exceptionally easier by doing something out of your norm, and he just stands true no matter what the situation or how big the moment.
So no one on the side, but a couple of balls did go down off the break, and Chung took care of business from there.
Now Chung with a break and run and a 2-0 lead to break here in game 3. He's dialed in that 1, and a lot of times it only takes really, you know, kind of one of those strikes on the cue ball or one of those strokes you feel to be able to start repeating that. And now a great look and another chance at a break and run.
Well, there was a huge contingent from the host nation in the starting field. 90 Vietnamese in the draw of 256, and Chung started his campaign here in Hanoi against 2 of them back-to-back. Van Bien, who he beat 9-5, and then Wen Hong Tuan, 9-2 winner. That took him through to winners qualification, where he beat the former World Masters runner-up, Lo Ho Sum of Hong Kong, 9-3. And then a couple of wins yesterday, both fairly comfortable, really. 10-6 against Michael Baunan in the end. And then 10-4 against Shane Wolford of the US, thereby ending Wolford's hopes of claiming the last automatic spot on the US Mosconi Cup team, which has been decided here this week.
Yeah, and that opening shot on the 2 is almost exactly what I was talking about, as far as, you know, he could have shot that and just rolled across, got between the 5 and the 7 there, and just, you know, kind of made the pot on the blue 2 a little easier. But he realized premium position on the 3 is really what you're supposed to get. And he's hit it beautifully. Almost got snookered on that first shot, but now in a good position. Ooh, that was a little wide.
This is what can happen, isn't it? You miss one ball that you shouldn't, and it doesn't just cost you that rack, it can cost you a few more.
Now he'd just love anything on the 3. That's why he's looking at distance, trying to simplify the 2. If the 6 wasn't there, he may come 3 cushions with a little side spin. But I think it's just back and forth with a bit of high outside, maybe high left English, trying to avoid the 5 and 9 and get the speed right. He's overcut it. He's overcut it.
And finally, for the first time since the first rack, Carlo Biado gets back to the table.
Yeah, even the pros, you kind of learn sometimes. And I don't think he was too upset about the miss, really. Of course, you're not going to be happy, but the way he struck the ball.
And with that, this vastly experienced player from the Philippines finally gets one on the board. Chung still looking comfortable. It's 4-1.
Adapting is a must. Combination not too tough. Big favorite. Doesn't want to blast it, though. He has to hold position on the 5. Oh, wow.
Biado immediately passed up his earlier chance in this rack. He's got another one now, and this looks like a really good one. Was 4 racks behind. Could reduce the deficit here to just a couple. As I was saying earlier, Claudio Cacci announced himself with that run to the last 16 of the Spanish Open as a complete newcomer to the scene. Just a few months more than a year ago. Well, he's gone further here in Hanoi. He's beaten James Aranas by 10 racks to 8, and having defeated one half of the Philippines duo who won the World Cup of Pool in Spain last year, he will now face the other half, Johan Chua, in the last 8 later today.
Chung starting so strong after that battle for the first game. And just kind of wonder, you know, you're going to let Carlo get a little woke up here with a few mistakes.
Chung had the chance, he had multiple chances to lead 5-1. Carlo Biado has made it 2 in a row, so the lead is now trimmed to 4-2.
An awful kiss on the cue ball. It was a dry break, so Chung was coming to the table, but definitely a different complexion with ball in hand, especially after making pretty big mistake with a very missable or makeable combination in the last. And, you know, don't want to go there and say it's one of Phil Yates's road maps. There's always work, but you can see these kind of connect pretty well. 1, 2 over the middle, the red 3 not far, the pink there to get on the purple, and the 6, 7, 8, 9 to finish. Yeah, I like like that there, that little extra look. You know, you're not really contemplating much change in a decision or anything. Just kind of, you know, stick to your normal kind of routine.
So Ko-Ping Chung had so much momentum early on. Carlo Biado looked like he might be starting to generate some himself. Then he scratched at the start of rack 7. He sat down for the rest of it. Ko-Ping Chung in a commanding position once again now at 5 racks to 2. Because he's breaking with a 5-2 lead. Crowds building once again steadily throughout the week. There were about 3,000 people in here on the final night last year, hoping for something similar tomorrow. Will Ko-Ping Chung be there?
Yeah, there's that one in the side. 2 ball near the cue ball. Watch out for the 9.
And it's the golden break. 9 ball down on the break, rack over, and that's going to be so hard for Carlo Biado to take. A match that he was getting back into. He scratched on the break, as I said, at the start of the previous rack. Didn't get back to the table. And this rack is all over in a single shot. You know, there are some people who say, oh, you should take out the golden break. It shouldn't be allowed. Look at the reaction of the crowd. They love it. That is one of the best things in this game.
Yeah, and it just doesn't happen very often. Yeah, I just kind of feel like, look at the spreads he's getting. I just kind of feel like it's going to take something out of his hands, really, something unlucky to slow him down. And just look at, besides the 5 ball that's pinned on the bottom cushion, the spreads he's getting, he really has a shot on every ball on the table to really go offensive. So no matter where the blue 2 lands, it seems like offense is kind of the theme here. Sweet shot here. You can play with outside or inside. I kind of like the inside myself, going to the right of the pink 4 with the cue ball, some 3 rails. He went with the outside. Yeah, I thought outside was a little more difficult to judge on the, you know, slicker conditions. And he caught it a little thick, and Carlo's got to respond.
Well, if there is to be a comeback, it's really got to start here and now, you have to feel.
Okay, he needs to play between the pink. He may go over with right English. Watch out for the side if he does. No, he went straight through. Same thick miss. He may have fluked it though, and what a timely fluke for Carlo Biado. And definitely really quick with the delivery there. That wasn't very close, the contact on the 2.
You said it might take something that was out of Ko-Ping Chung's hands to really turn this match. That was out of the hands of both of them.
Well, yeah, with the technology of being able to see all those matches, and we'll see how that one goes. But I'm kind of just curious, what kind of starter is it going to take for Carlo to get comfortable here? You know, if something tough comes up on the blue 2 after his by far the best break he's had. Just wondering, you know, like I said, Ko-Ping Chung had some nice starters to get going, but you kind of feel like he's going to knock in almost anything if he gets a look. And I'm not so convinced at the moment for Carlo.
Yeah, that's his 3rd break and first time he's made anything off it.
Definitely should attack here. It is thin, but he's close to it. It's a good sign to be able to float that in lightly. He's just going back and forth. Easy to overcut it to this, you know, bottom rail knuckle.
Back in prime position now. So should make it 2 in a row for the 2nd time in the match. You know, you go back to the World Championship earlier in the year in Jeddah, and one of the most astonishing stories was how little impact Biado made. Lost his first match to Marco Teucher. Went to the loser side and lost his first match there as well, albeit that it was against Dang Junhui, the Spanish Open champion, who went on to reach the quarterfinals. But amazing for a player of Biado's quality, who could have won the World Championship without anyone being in the least bit surprised, to go there and not win a single match. What he is going to win, though, is this rack. And doesn't 7-4 look very different to 7-2? So Biado back to 3 behind.
On the 9, got the 1 down. The break shot looking much better for Carlo. That's a good sign as he does trail this match, like Michael said. Now, this is what I was talking about. Usually, you know, he's one of the best after the break, no matter what kind of look it is. And we'll see here in a moment. If he can get by the 6 here onto the side cushion. Oh, he did. Kind of a stunned follow. Wiggled it home, but really a heck of a shot.
It's very hard to keep a player of Carlo Biado's class down for long. And that was a real moment of quality.
I like him hitting a little further down on that ball. Now he's looking to cut it. Thought this was very easy to bang this away and not hit the brown. And let the 1 roam a couple rails below the 9 as the cue ball kind of squeezes up on the pink. This is going to get turned loose. He's got to get pretty lucky. And you could tell he just didn't like it, even though he knew he had to shoot it. Didn't expect that mistake there, Michael, from Ko-Ping Chung.
Yeah, feels like a very different match now. He'd had the golden break. He'd had 4 other break-and runs. He was dominant. Carlo Biado had hardly featured in the match. But it was that bit of good fortune, wasn't it, that he had with the fluke in the side, Biado, that has proved so significant, because it's really sparked a proper revival here.
All right, smart shot there. Not trying to do too much. Didn't have to necessarily get this good of a shot on the blue 2, but there wasn't a miss on the 1. And
well, with the momentum all behind him and his opponent starting to make some mistakes, could make an argument that Biado, even at 7-6 down, is now a marginal favourite for this match. 7-6 it will be if he manages to complete the formalities here. Yeah, it's a routine 9. It's going to be 4 racks in a row. And Biado is now just 1 behind in this match. He'll be breaking in the next rack, looking to draw level by $464.
Well, that makes total sense.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't need to win the tournament. And yeah, a semi-final place seals the deal.
Oh, I'm a little shocked that Carlo didn't take on that cut shot. He's one of the best at the thin ones, and he's really on a roll. I'm not saying the safety was very difficult at all, but I liked his chances on the cut shot. I know the cue ball would have been turned loose. You know, it would have had a lot of speed, but the 3's pretty open. I think FSR on a break and run to tie that match at 3 apiece.
Yeah, Sanchez Ruiz. Well, looking across, yeah, I think he has levelled that at 3-all from 3-0 down against Skylar Woodward. Big moment here.
Wow, how good is this guy? And along with all these players, to sit in a chair and really losing a 7-2 lead. Next real shot offensively is off the end rail. knowing Carlo's back in form.
He's the friendliest, politest man you could meet. But he's such a strong competitor, made of steel inside when it comes to the big moments.
Oh, just as we looked at him a moment ago and kind of curious what was going to happen. I thought it was going to be tough going forward to get position because of the brown 7. But he did work the cue ball. Now, I think this may play, but may be hard for Carlo to hold position on the pink, so you may see a safety instead.
Starting to feel like a very big rack now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about mentally to go the break here after the 15th game and have the lead after winning 6 in a row. Chung, you feel like $1 million to keep the lead after having a 5-game deficit on a former world champion and U.S. Open 9-ball winner as well.
Well, that shot could hardly have turned out any worse for Carlo Biado has not led at any stage in this match. Chung is in his chair again.
Well, the tables have been difficult all week, of course. The felt getting broken, the 4-inch pockets, a little humidity in the air, and maybe these players are, once they're getting used to the slick conditions again with the new felt, kind of feel a little refreshed, like they can run a lot of racks, so maybe no lead safe.
6 in a row for Carlo Biado. 2 more and he'll be in the quarterfinals. What a turnaround in Hanoi.
He's going to be happy with this overall, I think. Got him elevated over the black 8. Real solid hit on the blue 2. Got a little piece of this, but man, being elevated and awkward cueing, you got to believe he's just going to ignore that. Try and play for a little luck. He's going to try and knock this up to the top rail and then maybe on the left side rail with the cue ball staying. Oh my, things have changed for sure.
Well, there was a slice of fortune that enabled him to get this run started at all when he was 7-2 down. And a bit more here. Didn't really do much wrong in the early part of the match. It was just so dominant from Chung. Yes, he missed that 6 early on, which was very costly, but as he started getting his chances, he's grown into the match more and more. And this looks pretty straightforward. To be first to the hill, which would have seemed so unlikely only, what was it, about 40 minutes ago?
Yeah, it didn't take him long, just like that lead for Chung to grow. It didn't take long for this comeback. And I don't know if Chung will get back out of the chair, but he's got to think positive, though, because if he does get a chance, the table's breaking very well. So to win the last 3 games, very, very, very doable. Now, got to believe he's going to try and make it. Go up and down the table for position on the 3.
Look at the smiles on those faces. They just love it here in Hanoi.
See where that totally ended up. Oh, it got a lot closer to the 3 than I thought. So do you go into the purple here, kind of holding the cue ball, let the 3 kind of go away? Okay, he played it even more aggressive. Tucking the cue ball behind the 9. Putting the 3 in a real nasty spot, Michael. Not a whole lot of 3 ball to kick at. It's got to go across. You won't want to slow roll this. This will be kind of like a center ball hit, a little more medium maybe. May actually have to bend this a little bit because of the purple 5. So it's in his hands, that being Carlo Biado. Definitely a future Hall of Famer. I think it'll probably be next year, but he's trying to snap off this Hanoi Open. Is there a 5-9 combination on order?
That's just what I'm looking at as well.
Because otherwise you may play the 3-6 just because it's a little more comfortable queuing and it's not a hard combination to get the run started. All right, he'll let us know here shortly. And the other reason is that if you're going to play position on the 5, it's not that easy to get prime to get over for a tough green 6. Yeah, I would definitely have a consideration of this combination. It's going to be a little bit of a blind cut shot into the combo. It's not directly behind it. But man, showing some heart. It definitely plays.
You can never write off the class and quality of a player like Carlo Biado. Some might have been tempted to do so when he trailed Chung 7-2, but remarkably, Ko did not win another rack after that.